And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Saturday, December 15th, 2018, coming to you live from Las Vegas, Portnoy Gallery with twin brothers from different mothers. And if the title of the show does not give you a hint why we've titled that, looking at the two of us, you've been living under a rock. Neal Portnoy to my left. How are you, my friend?
I'm tremendous. It's 60 degrees here in Vegas.
Yes.
And I don't know whether you do it, but I do it. I always check what's my weather from my former locale in New England. And this morning it was 42 degrees here in Vegas. It was 45 in Holden, Massachusetts. And I wasn't happy. But you know what? It's staying at 40 degrees there, and we're going up to 60.
Yeah, we're going up to 60. And Norfolk, where my daughter Stacy is, she too is having 60 degrees, but they're having a ton of rain today.
Is she at the Navy base?
No, she's not at the base. She is at just outside. She's 20 minutes from Virginia Beach. But she's not really, she's kind of near, but it's probably like a 10-minute ride.
Now share with our audience, what is Stacy doing in Norfolk, Virginia?
Well, she is a residence hall director for Old Dominion University out there.
Ann Donovan, remember Ann Donovan?
Yes.
She went to Old Dominion. I don't know if you knew that, but she's in the NBA Hall of Fame.
I know this much. Today is Rivalry House and Rivalry.
I'd like to buy a vowel.
I'd like to buy a tongue. Rivalry weekend in my house. Because as I was checking the men's basketball schedule, Old Dominion
is playing Penn State.
Is playing Syracuse, which is my wife's alma mater.
Oh, you didn't mention that.
No.
Okay.
So, well, of course, when Syracuse and Penn State do their thing, it's a pain in the butt as well. But Syracuse and ODU, they're playing up in the Carrier Dome. You should have seen the trash talking going on myself.
Have you ever been to the Carrier Dome?
I have not.
Let me tell you something. The visual we see on TV of the Carrier Dome,
yes,
it looks like a nice. That's like 1/8 of the size of the Carrier Dome.
Right.
They block everything off. They put curtains up. They do all that neat stuff. It is a huge facility.
It is. It's a huge facility, but it's gorgeous, according to my wife. I've yet to be there. I have taken her to Beaver Stadium, which, of course,
thought you were gorgeous too. Have you looked in the mirror?
I know. But that, fortunately, she was drunk the night she met me, so you know how things happen. People look better when you're drunk, right?
So in other words, your liquor cabinet is constantly full.
Exactly. 30. It's worked for 30 years, so why the heck not? 30 years. January 8th, less than 30 days, I'll hit 30 years of marriage.
January 12th will be 11 for Dorothy and myself.
There you go. Yeah. Excellent. So, yeah. So between us, we got 41 years of wedded bliss between you guys.
Well, that's what two women. You want me to add the other two that I know? Okay.
That reminds me, when I used to do timeshare, I used to break the ice by asking my guests, so tell me, how long you've been married? And they would say, give me a number, 11, 30, whatever. And I look at them and say, is that together? Same husband and wife?
Did you know, speaking of timeshare,
yes,
that Dorothy and I went with our friends Cliff and Claire.
Okay.
Cliff is a writer, a comedian, Cliff Lawrence. We went to my mother's house.
Yes.
The Italian restaurant. And Chef Michael.
Yep. Mike Leonetti. Shout out to Mike and Laura.
Used to sell timeshare.
Mike did?
He was one of the top honchos.
My friend Ricky Cash, who did my Vegas Unwrapped, he actually worked for Mike for a short time. But at that time, Mike was working what they call the OPCs, on-premise counselors, which are the folks when you walk in the street and say, hey, come on over, you're visiting.
Right.
That's what Mike was overseeing at the time we got introduced.
But he was a big honcho. He was telling me he was making thousands of dollars a week selling timeshare.
Listen, before the 2008 debacle of our economy, I was in timeshare before that, and I was making low six figures.
I was in timeshare with my two ex-wives. Boy, I put my time.
Are you time sharing your wives?
Oh my God!
Are you still paying for that, or is there a maintenance fee?
I'm glad you brought that up. Nice segue. But I looked at my attorney when everything was all done with the payments, and I looked at him and I said, "Tell me something. Is the lease up, or do I finally own her?"
No 90-day guarantee or return policy or anything?
No. The interest was way too high.
The interest, right? Hey, by the way, we're going to. I want to just introduce who our guest is today, and this gentleman will be joining right in between Neal and I here in a few minutes. But as you know, as anybody watching news, this past week we had Major League Baseball's winter meetings held right here.
Mandalay Bay, Vegas.
Exactly. And for those who don't know what that means, all the general managers were together. They talk about rules, they trades, possibly yada, yada, yada. And the husband of someone who's a teacher at my wife's school happens to have a job that just about any blue-blooded American who loves baseball, as you and I both do,
correct,
would probably kill to have this job or be involved in it.
Well, I love the little text that you sent me. We have my wife. His name is Hank. He does stats at MLB. Would you like to have him as a guest on the podcast? And I quickly, I think it was 2.1 seconds
I think
later.
so. I think you broke the text speed record.
Yes.
Exactly. So Hank Widmer, he is the senior manager of the stats operations for all of Major League Baseball, and he's been doing it close to 20 years of memory serves when we chatted.
Did you have a full head of hair when you started, Hank?
He had a little bit.
Next question.
Well, he could prove that when he joins us in front of the camera, so you can deny or not. I want to just give a quick shout out to everybody who's already in the chat room. Thank you so much for joining us already. And if you would, hey, please feel free to reshare this post. Before we get down to, I saw something come through on Facebook yesterday that I want to coattail a conversation we had 2 weeks ago about the disability stuff. I don't know if you saw my repost about what happened at Avon's. Not necessarily here.
I did not.
But before we do that, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, this Monday, the 17th, is the second day that Eileen Jacobson is holding her seminars for holiday stress and guilt eating and how to deal with all of that. 1 to 3 p.m., 7 to 9 p.m. You can call Eileen. It's done at her house. She can hold about 5 to 7 people comfortably. It's normally $99, but if you bring a friend, each of you will only register for $89. It is a great session. You can give Eileen a call, 702-277-5856. And so that is only the last day that she's having these is this Monday, the 17th, from 1 to 3 p.m. or 7 to 9 p.m. for you workers. Give her a call, hypnosis sessions to alleviate stress and guilt, $99 for yourself, $89 for you and or any other guest you may bring.
Eileen is...
She is a hypnotherapist extraordinaire, life coach, to help you kind of deal with anything and everything that's going on around your life much more comfortably.
Nice.
You like that?
Well,
I did that off the top of my head.
That was pretty good. I didn't have any of that in my notes.
No, he's got 12,000 pages of notes, and Eileen wasn't even part of that.
No, it's all baseball. All baseball.
So, yeah. Hey, Hank, this is fun. This is the most preparation he's ever done for a show. I got to know. He spent hours printing stuff off. He doesn't come. This is the most he's done, so I thank you for that. So 2 weeks ago, because of a post I did about the disabilities and people not being allowed to come in, refused, what are the laws? Remember that conversation?
Sure.
Okay.
Now we do, yeah.
So, now you do?
I have
short-term memory? What?
CRS.
Can't remember shit?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So a person who's in my feed, Shannon Stearns, posted something, and I guess this is a relative of hers. So I'll just say John Smith tried taking his service animal into a Vons in their neighborhood. Now, I'm not sure if this was here in Vegas.
Into Vons? Which Vons?
Into a Vons.
What's a Vons?
A Vons is a supermarket.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me verify that. Thank you. They literally chased him out with a broom.
The dog or the person?
Both, because they would not allow the dog in. So I reshared this, and I wrote, boo hiss, Vons. If you listened to Twin Brothers from Different Mothers, although I just noticed I spelled mothers wrong, podcast 2 weeks ago, Vons would have known that what they did is illegal.
Well, we should write to them now and let them know that what they did was illegal rather than just posting it. We should have our listeners out there Google corporate office at Vons, which I just learned is a supermarket. It's not a shoe because women aren't there.
That's Vans. That's Vans. That's close. The sneakers.
That's that vowel thing I keep trying to buy. Right?
There's only 5 vowels. You have a 20% chance.
What about Y? Y sometimes is a vowel.
But that doesn't count.
A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y.
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, listen, I'm Italian. My last name ends in Portnoy. That's a Y, so it ends in a vowel. I must be Italian.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I did get back my Ancestry.com.
Oh, did you?
I got it back this week.
So what did it say?
I am 100%
afraid.
European Jew.
100%.
Like I didn't
From
know
where?
that
From where? What are the origins in Europe?
Lithuania, Russia, Poland, and countries which no longer exist because Russia took them over.
They bought them. Yeah, it was a game of Monopoly. I'll buy you Kastazasan for this one. You know what? I've never done that, but my great-grandmother, may she rest in peace, originally came from Poland too. She came from the Warsaw Ghetto. Thank God I was not involved in the Holocaust, but
Dorothy is like 94% Sicilian.
Okay.
And
that means she makes good pizza, right?
Tremendous. Oh, she's a good cook anyway.
Well, I know she is.
But the interesting, they give you a list of relatives who are second cousins, third cousins, fourth.
Right.
she's starting to contact them. Saying, hey, we're cut. I'm like, and I got those, but I don't know anybody to.
Do you know Mark Weinberger in town?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Quick short story, then we'll move on. We'll bring Hank over. Talking about relationships. So a dear cousin of mine back east, who sometimes actually joins us on the show, Peter Harrop. I'll give him his name. He's a great cousin. Almost 40 years ago, he decided to start running our family lineage. Okay. Because Peter is related on my dad's side, the Cohen side with a K, not the C. He's related on that side. So he decides one day we're just going to trace the family tree. Okay. Doing this for 40 years. So a couple of months back, I get a phone call message from him, as well as a message on Facebook. Hey, give me a call. I got to ask you about somebody who's on your Facebook friend list, last name Weinberger. Okay. So I call him back. So you ready for this? Mark and his family, Mark and his wife, Mark is originally from South Africa. That's where when you talk to
that's where that accent's from. Okay.
Exactly.
Right,
exactly. Okay. So Peter says to me, by the way, he says, this Mark Weinberger, how do you know him? So I go on to explain, I've known him for 10 years. Networking. I was invited to his son's bar mitzvah a couple of years. As a matter of fact, I reposted the picture of me carrying the Torah. He gave me an honor at his son's bar mitzvah.
I saw that picture.
Yeah. So he says, believe this or not, he says, I've traced the name Weinberger all the way back to South Africa. And he said to me, guess what? Our family has roots in South Africa. He says to me, believe it or not, you and Mark are related.
Wow.
We're like six generations. It goes all the way back to 1700s.
Jewish geography.
I'm telling you. And so I tried explaining this to Mark, and my cousin Peter I said, Mark, I'm going to have my cousin call you, because my cousin Peter brought up Mark's mom and grandmother, had all the information there. And to prove that what he found was right. So I said, Mark, if it's okay with you, I'm going to have my cousin Peter call you to go over all the information he found. Is that good? And kind of reluctantly said, yeah, okay. I really don't kind of believe all this stuff, but okay. So I gave Peter the okay, get in touch with Mark. I get a message back from Mark about maybe an hour, 2 hours later. He goes, I guess we're really related. 6 generations.
Wow.
So it's like it's crazy. That proves to me 6 generations. What does it say? 6 degrees of separation?
Correct.
Everybody is somewhat related somehow, right? I mean, go figure. South Africa, I'm related to this guy I've known in this town for 10 years. And lo and behold, we find out we're cousins.
I once got a letter in the mail about a national convention of Portnoys. And I went, oh, great. What the hell is this? Right? Come to find out that a Portnoy that I do know said that they got the same message or letter in the mail, and it's an actual thing. And then I come to find out that the name Portnoy, which in Russian means stitcher or tailor,
okay, I didn't know that.
is as common in Russia is like Jones in the United States.
Really?
It's a very common name in Russia, Portnoy. It's pronounced Portnoy.
Okay, so the accent's on a little different part of the name.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I got relatives, I think. I didn't tell me any Portnoys in Russia, but I don't know.
You could just probably Google it. Are there Portnoys in Russia?
Oh, there are.
There would probably it would take a little homework to do, I'm sure.
I mean, listen, I'd love to go to Europe and Asia and all those, but I'm not going to visit Portnoys. So, want people coming
unless you need something stitched.
Very good. Very good.
No.
I need a lot of things stitched.
Hey, did you know, I'm going to segue like cat following the red light, and then I'll bring Hank around, which I said 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
You know, the word today, schmuck, has a very negative connotation.
Well, because we know what schmuck means in Yiddish.
Correct. So that I wanted to mention that. So you know what it is, right?
Sure.
Which is what?
It's the P word.
No.
Yeah, that's what it means.
No.
Yes, it does.
Okay, let me take you back 2,000 years before that. Do you know what a schmuggler is? In a real...
Is that the fishing industry? Is that a shuckler?
No, that's a shuckler. That's when you have nothing but clams and you got to open clams. You're shuckling.
So a schmuggler is you got nothing more than mams? Tell me. I don't know.
A schmuggler is a jeweler.
Really?
Yes. So technically, when you look at somebody and say, you're a schmuck, you should look back at them and say, well, thank you very much. I know I'm a gem.
Yeah, but that's not what it means.
Unfortunately, no, it's not what it means in today's culture.
Right, right.
But technically, that is what a schmuck means. And it's just somehow, it's like the game of telephone. You know, you talk to somebody and the message gets passed along.
Yeah.
All these generations, somehow that word schmuck became known.
Is that mentioned in the Bible at all, schmuck?
I don't know, maybe in the appendix. I have no idea.
What would they research back then? The only thing around was the Bible.
Yeah, what do you research the Bible with? What's your research on? They didn't have Google back then.
No, but it made me think, how the telephone game, by the end, it gets to,
right.
It means something different. Whoever wrote the Bible, and I'm not a religious person, so I really don't know, and we don't do religion here on Twin Brothers, but What was the original story like?
Yeah,
Of the Bible.
That's true. There's no reference
Of the Bible.
That's true. There's no reference to
There's
make
no
sure that
reference.
there's no fluff in the story
Right.
for dramatic purposes.
We got to move on.
Yes, we do.
This could go
All right, Hank, come on around. At this time, we're going to invite our guest, Mr. Hank Widmer, to our table of destruction here, I guess. He's going to come around and he's going to join us. And I hope everybody's kind of enjoying this new view of us on podcast. I decided to try something different today because I forgot my charger. And instead of using my phone, I decided, well, let's see what Facebook Live's video, if I do it off my laptop. I kind of like this closer shot of everybody.
I like it a lot better. Am I coming through on a microphone? Because we're testing this out, 2 microphones, 3 people.
Look at all these people.
We're tri-brothers from I don't know.
Twin brothers from different. You're the one that named the show.
Yeah, but we got 3 bald people here now.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's got more than us. He's got a little more than us. He's got the fringe working.
He's got the runway.
God, what a way to welcome our guest. Hank Widmer joins us from Major League. Lean right into that mic, Hank, so everybody can hear you if you don't mind. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
This has probably been a busy week for you, and obviously with the winter meetings here, and you and I officially met actually last Friday. Your wife is a teacher with my wife at her school.
Yes.
And we got to talking, and you were kind of sneaking down into the winter meetings a little bit, right?
I did. I was there from Sunday night till Wednesday morning.
Okay.
Hanging out, doing, we did some demonstrations for.
There we go. Yeah.
We did some demonstrations for each team's PR department on
Okay.
print out their stat packs and tell them what our plans were for 2019 as far as scoring games.
Okay.
So it actually had to work.
Yeah.
I got a question for Hank. This cybermetrics and the Bill James stuff with the Red Sox being from New England. I'm sure that has filtered into a lot of what you do. And let's face it, the millennials, which are now coming into the industry, and having been a former member of COSIDA, which is the College Sports Information Directors of America, all the writers, all the SIDs of schools, over the years, you could see that people like myself that had been in the industry for 30 plus years, they were all kids coming in, all the millennials coming in with no hope of really becoming an SID for 30 years, but it was a great stepping stone for them to meet people in the industry and move with their careers.
Well, philosophically, in baseball, it's how do you attract the younger audience, right?
Stay right in the microphone. So I just want to make sure everybody hears you.
Sure. Philosophically, there's a conversation in baseball, how to attract younger viewers, get people to go to the ballpark.
Pace of play I have wrote that down. I wanted to talk to you about that later.
Sure. Pace of play. There's I would say, older generation of which I'm a part of that thinks, sabermetrics is terrible. It's killing baseball. It's not really. It's just a new way of looking at baseball. It would be my viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at MLB.com, you'll see our StatCast data, which is tracking, pitch speed, launch angle, speed off the bat, home run distance. All this is directly related to sabermetrics and newfangled, as it's referred to, newfangled statistics.
Before we move forward, one of the questions I always like to ask any of our guests that does something unique, how'd you get started in this? You're doing this almost 20 years.
Yes.
It's not, the opportunities in the job market today in any industry is crazy. Okay. So what were you doing before you got started, and how did you find this type of thing to do in terms of a transition?
Well, you referenced Bill James. That's sort of how I got started.
Okay.
I used to, back in 1987, I was a manager of a bookstore in Southern California, many Crown Books. It was the name of the store. And there was a book that came by one day. It was Bill James' Baseball Abstract. At the back of the baseball abstract, there was an ad saying, how would you like to be part of a volunteer organization that scored baseball games off TV? My wife and I, she was pregnant with our first kid. She said, we're not going to do anything all summer. Why don't you score games? You like baseball?
A dying art.
Scoring baseball games. So there was a specific way you had to score it, so they could translate it into this, database. And so I sent out. I said, I'd love to do this. They sent, sure. Whenever you see a baseball game on TV, score it, put it in an envelope, send it to us. We'll collect everything. And that from there it went to, well, we'll pay you $10 a game to do this. Went to, hey, we'll give you a fax machine after you finish it, fax it into us. It moved into, we'll pay you $25 a game.
Ooh.
And so then they expanded to, hey, you see a lot of baseball games. Would you like to write about baseball? So I wrote about, it's not really called rotisserie baseball anymore. It's called fantasy baseball. But it was rotisserie baseball.
Rotisserie leagues. Well, that's a name that goes back. Holy cow.
I wrote for a lot of rotisserie league baseball books. Then I got known as a person who watched a lot of baseball, for better or worse. In 2000, Major League Baseball decided they were going to collect their own statistics. Up till then, baseball just took the stats from each individual club. So in 2001, they said, we're going to start this stats department. Would you like to be part of it? There were 3 of us. We covered all 162 games for every single team.
Wow.
I worked 7 days a week for about 8 months straight. Saw, 1,000 games at least over that time.
Jeez.
And we've increased as we've gone. We do Major League. We do every minor league baseball, all the way from AAA down to Venezuelan Winter League. So this stats department is the 3 of us started. Now there's 25 of us in this department.
Wow. Crazy.
Well, let me ask you a question, because, I'm a baseball guy. And, having coached at the collegiate level for a lot of years, we used to have the official scorer. If we were the home team, we had the official scorer. We had a guy who had the lowest ERA, D3 in the country, a kid by the name of Chad Cosby. I don't know if Chad's watching out there, but there's your plug for Chad. We were the official scorer, sending it into the NCAA. Listen, they were fudged. A lot of the statistics were fudged. My question is, and my segue in is, calligraphy. Kids today, these millennials, have no idea what it is. The millennials, which have entered now into your field, are really teaching us a thing or two, because time is money. The software which has been entered into the industry has made the job a little easier and quicker. Social media, with the news being really quickly transmitted along a lot of different platforms. If you look back at the years of Ted Williams and Joe D and Pee Wee Reese and Don Newcomb and Jackie Robinson, who were doing the statistics back then? Were they relying on the home team? How much validity is in those old statistics? Because we're talking statistics. Would they be that much different today? And why don't you respond to that?
It was completely up to the home team and the official score to decide what was a hit or an error at its most basic. Since 2001, since it's centralized, I feel confident that it's a little less unbiased, let's just say, even though official scores get a lot of pressure from PR departments.
Well, not only from PR departments, but from the players.
From players, from agents, right?
They look up and say, hey, I can't get 3.2 million more
right.
bonus.
Yes. Well, players aren't allowed to request it, but agents are allowed to request it.
Okay.
So, the official score job has sort of changed over the year. Right now, basically, it's hit or error or unearned and earned runs. What we put on are the official stats versus.
Now, that rule has changed, and I know. Can you hear me if I'm yelling from this side?
It's echoed.
That rule has also changed. The earn run average. It's like, well, would that run have scored if? That rule has changed, because I remember when I played way back when, an inherited run, or would that, you can't assume that run on a double play, no ribby on the double play ball. The rules were different way back when, and a lot of the athletes padded their statistics, and that's in a book of records, which is legit. It would be different today.
the pressure on official scores from PR departments and players certainly affected it before. I think these days, I think everyone takes it a lot more seriously. Not that they didn't take it seriously. That's a bad choice of words. It's more across the board. It's plays scored in San Diego is going to be the same as the play scored in Detroit, centralized. So the calls are going to be better, I guess, all across 30 markets.
Well, also you've got ESPN, and I go back to the old days of Bill Rasmussen, who started, because Bill's a friend of mine, started ESPN way back when. And he's out there now doing a lot of public speaking. I last ran into Bill up in the Jersey Shore.
That's down at the Jersey Shore. The shores are not up. Shores are down.
Well, I'm from New England. And
everything, so it should be better for you. Everything is down from you.
Yeah, but people talk Jersey. I go, what exit?
That's right, 136.
Yeah, there you go. So, but Bill and I chatted a little bit about that, because now with the media coverage, you can literally, and here in Vegas, you can do it more literally than other places, watch 300 screens and 300 games at the same time. And, oh, by the way, pull that little weight slip out and check mark here and go up to the counter and collect some money. Let me ask you this. And not to take away from Aaron, because I'm doing it again. I'm talking 80% of the time.
You're fine.
Okay, good.
I'll cut you off. Don't worry.
I know you will. The game has changed in so much as now MLB is getting involved in the gaming industry. You know what? They always used to say, there will be no professional sports in Las Vegas. It's too close. And my argument used to always be, well, go to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
The stadiums are right downtown next to 3 casinos.
Yeah. Okay, a couple things. First thing I'll tell an anecdote about last spring training. So I was working the game, the Rockies and Diamondbacks in February, probably the first or second game of the
spring season.
Training. Mm-hmm. There's about 5 guys with number 99 on the field, and I have no idea who they are.
There's only 199 that matters right now in baseball, and he plays for the Yankees.
Yes.
Yeah, but the guy does a handstand. He's 66. You gotta look.
So 99 hit a home run. I'm like, okay, I think that's this player. The Colorado PR department had already left. So I'm like, I have no idea. Literally no idea. So I put in, and he hit a home run and he won the game. So I'll check with Colorado PR after the game, make sure I have the right guy in there. Turns out Brendan Rodgers' mom was watching the game and called and said, hey, my son hit the home run, but you have it as somebody else.
Jeez.
Can you please fix this? And so I had to fix that. So, yes, speaking to a lot of people can see what's going on. So I have to tread lightly on I was specifically told it's called sports betting, not gambling, to Major League Baseball. So we have to get that out of the way. So we're going to have a deal announced fairly soon with a sports betting company, and they will be taking bets on baseball.
Nothing. Everybody said, you said never. Okay. You never should say never. You should never say never for anything. Anything can happen. And we'll get back to that in a second. I just want to mention again tonight, speaking of sports, the Atomic Roller Girls, who you and I visited last week, and you got a crash course in roller derby.
Are you kidding me? That was awesome last week.
So if you missed us at the Fallout Shelter, which is the home of the Atomic Roller Girls, Neil and I were there last week's podcast. But tonight is their actual fundraiser bout starting at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. down at the Fallout Shelter, 3600 West Oquendo. 100% of all the proceeds are going to the Nevada Children's Cancer Foundation right here in Las Vegas, in Nevada. I will be there. I will actually be on the mic tonight. I will be doing color commentating. I haven't come up with my roller derby nickname yet, with Side Dish.
But
that's his
I got to bring this up. For
Yes.
years, you were the wrestling guy. I mean, you know more knowledge about the pro wrestling than a lot of people that I know,
Yes.
because I learned a lot and I got to meet the champ. And
Yes, I'm envy of that picture you
And
have that you brought onto my wrestling show a couple of years
yeah,
ago.
well,
With Andre and Hulk.
right. And then, the 7-foot giant guy that I met in studio.
Jeff Bearden, who,
Jeff
by the way, he's got some health issues down in Florida.
Oh, really?
He's contending with that. But Jeff is a great guy,
But
and he listens every once in a while.
The reason I brought that up
Yes.
is the roller derby thing that we witnessed last week live with the podcast of Twin Brothers.
Right?
Is I found out that the thing they're doing tonight, which you'll mention what the name of it is,
Right.
Is it real, or is it like predestined that this one's going to win and that one's not going to win? Because I know wrestling,
I was going to
God
say,
forbid is,
you're intimating that wrestling is not real. How can you say
Well,
that in front of a wrestling fan?
You want to use the word intimating? Okay, fine. I had a better word, but that, needless to say, I'm just
Suggesting maybe?
suggesting, subliminal
No.
suggestion.
When you look, you saw they did a quick jam for us
Because I requested, I
Right.
wanted to see what it
You
looked
wanted
like.
to see what it looked like.
Right.
You tell me, can that be in any way, shape, or form?
No, that was
predetermined?
real. That was real because they were falling on their keister
Yes, they were.
and their tuchus.
Put 8 wheels under.
You like the word
tuchus.
tuchus? You had a storm thrown in.
You too see if you could stand with 8 wheels.
I
under
couldn't.
your feet.
I could stand with 2 wheels. Then
Given the fact that the jammer that we met last week
Right.
is like what 5'2" and 100-pound soaking
and
wet
one of the girls on the skates had to be 7'2"
with the skates on.
with the skates on. I mean, she was.
I will tell you said that tonight.
Yeah, because I'm not going. So you
Right,
can
that's
tell it
right.
right. But listen to me. I brought that up while we were watching this. This girl would kill me. I mean, this girl would have killed me.
Yes.
She was huge.
Are you familiar with roller derby at all, Hank? Did you ever watch it growing
As
up
a
as a
kid,
kid, right
yes.
on TV?
The phrase "call off the jam."
Yes.
was a
Right? Call
they-
off the jam. That's when you ended the bout,
they would,
the
put
jam
their
that was
hands
going
at their
on.
waist and say,
Correct.
"Call off the jam." I
Correct. And
used
usually that's called by the jammer. The jammer who's
Okay.
out in front.
Yes.
She's the one that does the signal that, okay, I've done enough. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. They're killing me. I've had enough.
Yeah.
So
Call
it's
off the
usually
jam.
it's usually the jammer that does that.
Right.
Okay. So, and now you probably saw it like I did on TV. It was the bank track,
Yes.
right? With the railings and the
It
guy.
was,
This is flat track. This is all on the
flat
floor.
track. I'm gonna say, growing up in Southern California, it was at the Olympic Auditorium
Right.
in LA.
And they had a place in New York where I watched it growing up. I would love to see you try to mark the stats of a roller derby bout. Points given, taken away,
Yeah,
penalties. I mean, because those are all recorded. Those stats are recorded by the scorekeeper there that Hammer was sharing with us.
Are they sent in anywhere for people? Like
I don't know. I don't know. That's a great
you gotta
question.
find out tonight.
I will find that out tonight. I will find that out. So that is tonight. It's Kringle versus Krampus. It's the Atomic Girls have changed all their normal wrestling names to holiday related, and I have the list. I should have brought it with me today. Kind of I could bring it up on email actually, but so everybody's got new names. Side Dish is the name of the main commentator. I talked to him during the week.
You know what just made me start to laugh because remember one of the nicknames. Do you remember the nickname that had us like ready to fall on the floor?
Yes.
You can mention it.
You mention it.
I forgot.
I can't because Candy. I see Candy's now out there.
Hi, Candy.
Who's also a Hammer. Hi, Candy. We're talking about tonight's event. 7 p.m. Doors open 6:30.
It was. I remember.
Go ahead.
Shreddy balls.
Shreddy balls. Yeah, and somebody actually sent me the SNL link from when they did it on TV. So I reshared it to Candy to share with Shreddy balls. That's the one. That's the gal who you were just referring to. That would kick your ass.
That was the big girl.
That was that's her. Yes.
She's such a sweet lady.
Yeah. If you were able to make it tonight, you'd have to bring roses to kind of fix everything. So Candy, since I know you're watching, Neil and I have a little change in the play. I will be there tonight. Neil has something that in the last minute he has to attend to tonight. So you're just getting Phillips tonight. I still haven't come up with a nickname. I was thinking about Chop Liver. I thought that was a good name to go with Side Dish. You don't like Chop Liver? No. I mean the other nickname I have is The Voice because of radio. I don't know. I mean,
it used to be 600-pounder. Or something like that, because you've lost, how much weight have you lost?
124, 5, 6 pounds, something like that.
One of those is now the
jammer.
The jammer, right.
Soaking wet, no less. I know. So Candy, I'm having trouble coming up with my name for tonight, but we'll come up with some. So that's the night. Doors open 6:30, 100%. And by the way, Portnoy Gallery will be providing an item that will be available for auction, right? Is that correct? We talked about that. I will be there. I'll bring some headshots. If you guys want some cheap autographs of me, I've got them. You're welcome to have them for free just because you're there. But we'll have a fun time. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, freezing our tuchus off.
I just thought of something
Yes.
because the news piece that I just created is for the Bronx Wanderers.
Yes.
If you have not seen, it is the best show in Las Vegas.
You want to go grab the one of them while I'm talking to
That's
Hank?
what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I want to
So go
prelude a little bit here.
Go ahead.
It just say I created a lithograph, limited edition, collectible, offered in a number of different, signed by the band, signed by me, and numbered. And I have one of those which we'll donate tonight.
Oh, okay.
If you have not seen the Bronx Wanderers at Bally's, it is the best show in Las Vegas. It's a great show, great story. Father has 2 boys. I'll leave it at that. I'm going to give Hank the microphone. I'm going to move stage left. That's pretty good.
Stage left.
Stage left.
Yeah.
And get one of the prints and show it on film.
Absolutely. Okay. So while he's doing that, yes.
Was it really Okendo, like Jose Okendo?
What the street name?
Yeah.
It is actually spelled the same way, Oquendo. It's down off of Valley View, and if you take 15 South, get off at Valley View, make a right. I mean Russell, make a right, head west to Valley View, make a left, and Oquendo is like a couple streets down. So it is like Jose Oquendo. Yeah, played for the Mets a long time, right? Yeah, you equate everything to baseball, don't you?
That's the thing. I was like, wait a minute, Jose Oquendo, right?
Right, exactly. Oh, Candy gave me a thumbs up, so she heard everything. So let me ask you a question. We talked about statistics, and one of the things that came up at the winter meetings, I'd love to get your thoughts on it, is the shift. Because a lot of players there. Why don't you move the microphone arm down, Neil? Oh, there you go. Yeah, put it up. There you go. Well, move it over to your right a little bit so we get the third wanderer in there. There we go. We'll block out here. Hold it up just a little bit higher. That's the best view of Neil we've had so far since we've started this. So so go back again and explain what this is. So hold the mic for him while he's holding that up. There you go.
Basically, what this is, I'll just put it down. It's an 18 by 24 lithograph with the hand-stamped signatures of,
let's see, we got
Vinay, and Nick.
One, two,
and three. Yeah, there's three of them. Count.
And there's a third one right there.
Uno, dos, tres for our Spanish-speaking audience.
Olive Bays, Gimel Dalet,
and that's for our Hebrew-speaking audience. Thank God I had my bar mitzvah. But this, I'm going to donate this tonight. This is one of the open edition prints for the Bronx Wanderers, which will be sold on their Bronx Wanderers fan page, as well as many different platforms on social media. 18 by 24, suitable for framing.
Now, how much are these normally selling for?
Those are selling for $100. They're stamped $99.95 because they always say, don't say 100, say $99.95. And these will be offered. They're already offered up on
the websites.
And the Wanderers have not seen this yet. I am bringing it
unless they're watching the podcast
very soon. Yeah, I hope they are. Vinay. Yeah.
There you go. There's a sneak peek. Okay. So Candy is loving it. She just gave a thumbs up, and she's saying awesome and all that stuff. So she's very grateful for the gallery to donate one of those for tonight. So let's talk about the shift. Yes, shift. Holy shift. Obviously, a lot of the players don't like it because hits get taken away. It affects numbers, blah, 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 blah. And now I heard yesterday on the news that they were talking about possibly trying to figure out a way to regulate or control the shifts. What's your thoughts on that? Obviously it's been affecting statistics now for players, especially dead pull hitters.
Right. Philosophically, in baseball, should we allow shifts, or should the batters learn how to
adjust accordingly?
Your feeling is what?
I think personal feeling, not as I'll cover the Major League Baseball patch on my sweatshirt.
Comments are not those representative of Major League Baseball.
I would say get rid of shifts. Baseball, even though it's a traditionalist sport, has always changed rules. They've raised and lowered the mound. They've
got rid of cork in the bat.
Let me ask you, you just brought up a very good point. They raise and lower the mound. Little trivia. You probably know the answer. You may not, but I'll give you the answer. Why did they lower, and who is the reason, pitcher-wise,
I think I know
that they did lower the mound when they lowered the mound?
I would say Bob Gibson, 1968.
That's exactly who I had in my head. I was only 4 years old in 68, but I knew the answer.
Interestingly, we had a dinner of the stats department in Mandalay Bay on Tuesday, and we just kind of asked each other, would you get rid of the shift or would you not? And there were 7 of us there. 4 of us said get rid of the shift, and 3 said no, they wouldn't get rid of the shift. I think that's actually representative of what's happening in baseball.
You guys could all run for Congress. That's a good statistic, 4-3.
So I think that's the philosophical challenge for baseball. Should you get rid of shifts? The one kind of rule that I heard was you'd have to have 2 people on one side of second base, and you could only be a step or 2 onto the grass.
I heard one that they were talking about you can't get off the dirt. That was another thing I heard yesterday.
Here's another thing they did. Remember when I don't know whether this is true or not, but you go into extra innings, and if it goes past a certain inning, you start the next inning with a man on second base.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I'm a purist.
That's why I don't like instant replay in football. This game is played by humans. It should be determined by humans on the field of play, regardless of the sport.
Right.
Like I grew up playing slow pitch softball with my dad. Okay. And anybody knows you had 4 outfielders. You had that short outfielder that anytime you had a guy up, they shifted around. You had a shift on. But you had to learn how to hit the opposite way,
Right.
or bunt for crying out loud to get out of the shift.
Well, to the first point of from AAA baseball down, they start extra innings with a guy on second
Right.
base.
That's where they were experimenting with it this past season, right?
This is the first year they've done it. They experimented with it in World Baseball Classic, I'm going to say 2017 and 2014. It's a pace of play issue.
Okay.
And pitchers, because minor league teams have a limited number of pitchers on their rosters, and they would run through pitchers.
Sure.
That's a good point.
And pace of play in the minor leagues is down quite a bit. It'll never happen in major leagues. There's other issues with pace of play there, but it's worked so far in the minor leagues.
Okay. Well, circumstances will dictate.
The amazing thing for me, being a former pitcher, I'm amazed at guys that throw the ball triple digits. Major league hitters can hit a triple digit fastball. And I was told by a former pitcher in the big leagues that guys like myself, I mean, I threw 91 too, but I was a junk pitcher. I threw a lot of junk. They hate to face people like me. They can listen. Ted Williams said one thing to me, and I got the opportunity to meet Ted on a number of occasions. He said, "Coach, you got to let him hit the ball." And I looked at Ted Williams. I said, "You know, you're one of the greatest hitters of the game. I don't understand." He said, "Coach, let me put it to you this way." He said, "If you struck out somebody on 3 pitches every inning, 3 hitters, how many pitches would you throw the inning?" I said, "Well, 9. He said, "Multiply that over 9 innings." I said, 81. He says, "I like your math." He said, "If you got him out on 1 pitch at bat, how many would you throw an inning?" I said, 3. He said, "Multiply that. What would you rather do?" He said, "Let him hit the ball. Don't let him hit the whole ball." How do you do that? You do that a number of ways. By changing speeds, changing location, and more importantly, changing eye level. What the young pitchers don't understand today, and what I used to, as a pitching instructor, teach them, is that if you're looking in a certain zone and the pitcher's throwing you in that zone, all you do is, pitching is nothing more than upsetting timing. As a hitter, what you're trying to do is time it. So if you're throwing 100 miles an hour, crank it up a bit, baby.
Right.
Time it. But it's a guy that throws the junk and changes the speeds. The Greg Maddux, move the baseball.
Tim Wakefield throwing nothing but knuckleballs.
Well, when a lot of things people don't understand. When Maddux first came up, he threw 94, 95.
Right.
And then the one of the pitching coaches looked and said, "Hey, Greg, do me a favor, back it down. Back it down. Go, give me high 80s." All of a sudden, the ball started moving, and then he mastered how to control the movement. What's your opinion on all that?
Well, baseball isn't that sport right now. It's a strikeout, home run,
Blow it by them.
Three true result sport now. Teams don't really scout guys who can't throw 95 plus at this point. You can throw 88 and be able to pinpoint it, but I don't know how you're going to be on a Major League Baseball team at this point.
What about Jamie Moyer, who couldn't break 80 and got Major League hitters out?
That was at least 5 years ago at this point. Right?
Yeah, at least when he retired.
Baseball has changed.
It's blow it by
Even
him.
5.
Yeah.
I mean, baseball had more strikeouts than hits last year for the first time ever.
Wow.
It's, and that's one thing, talking about changing the mound is like
How about launch angle? Has that changed the fact that there's now more strikeouts because the launch angle of the bat changes how you're going to – remember, Ted Williams said, let him hit the ball, don't let him hit the whole ball. The change of the launch angle is now – Ted Williams said to me one day, he said, "Coach, you know what the toughest thing in all of sport to do?" I said, "What, Ted?" He said, square the ball up with a round bat. How do you square something up with a round bat? But the launch angle has changed all of that now, because what they're trying to do is hit the sweet spot of the bat or not hit it at all, which is adding to the strikeout totals. That's just my opinion.
Right.
That's 100% true.
I just want to give a shout out to folks in the chat room, because we are all across the country being heard as we speak right now. I've seen Alaska check in. A friend of mine who just moved to Chicago just checked in. We had a listener out there from Florida. My daughter Stacy checked in, so that's the Virginia. So we are being heard right now all over the country as we speak, and possibly internationally if someone is out there and just hasn't checked in yet, I want to thank each and every one of you for checking in and hanging out with us.
It's all because I'm here.
That's right. Listen,
Okay.
baseball, the baseball draws, Hank. We may have to have you back every time you're in town. But I want to divulge to another direction about sports, okay?
Sure.
Because we're kind of down to about 10, 15 minutes. So last night, the Golden Knights were out in Jersey. They lost 5-4 in overtime, but we have hockey in town. Story of basketball came up again this past week, possibly coming to town. Now we have the Las Vegas 51s are now the Las Vegas Aviators, which is also the name of my wife's school. Oh, by the way,
Yes.
yeah, right. That's right. That's right. So I was informed last night that their choir, which is always performed down at Cashman, is being given an opportunity in
Yes.
April to have the choir sing at the new ball field, the national anthem. And guess who's already been volunteered to be on the field to chaperone them? Yours truly. I will be
I
on
thought
the
you were
field.
going to be the public announcer.
I'm trying. I figure if I get my
I'll-
foot on the field with choir people, I figure I'll have a microphone.
I'll
and I
put
can-
you in touch with the right person.
Please do. I
But
would love that.
bringing that up,
Yes.
the Aviators.
Yes.
What the hell is that logo? Are you kidding me?
I think by design the logo is okay. It's a pilot's face, but
No.
I think the color configuration.
They've got the mountains in
Well,
I
again, I think the colors, if it were to shift and be not so. What I don't like about it is like that
It
triangular
looks like
thing.
Adam Ant. I think the same. Listen,
Looks like the old Houston Astro
People
color
are always
configuration,
opening-
right?
people are always opening new businesses.
Right.
I think the one who designed the UNLV logo and the Aviators logo should open a business together and call it Graphics R Us. I don't know what the hell. I don't like it. I'm an illustrator.
Right.
I just don't like it.
I didn't even notice the Summerlin skyline was even in the
Right,
goggles
right.
until it was brought up by
Right.
someone else. So I like the idea of the concept because the Aviators, Howard Hughes Corporation, of course, is behind the building of the stadium. We know Howard Hughes' history with aviation, yada, yada, yada. I like where they were going with it. I don't like the color palette overall because of what's lost and what you can't determine. But again, the multicolors remind me of the old Astros from the late
Yes, they do.
70s, right? The
Yes.
old rainbow colors.
Where's Calvin Murphy?
Yes. Joaquin Andujar, Nolan Ryan was there wearing those colors, right?
Who was the big tall?
He had the heart attack on the meow.
Yeah. They found him, but they also
J.R. Richard.
right. They
It's a good
found
thing we got a baseball stat guy
they
there.
found him homeless underneath the
I remember that
bridge,
story.
and I'm reading
Yeah.
the story, going, "You were making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
What the hell happened?"
Well, they didn't take a class on financial protection, I guess. But so we have all these sports now coming. So now, of course, with the Aviators, now they're committed to the Oakland Athletics. When I moved here 21 years ago and getting involved in this, I always felt that baseball was going to be the first major sports team to come to Vegas. Because at that time, 20 years ago, the A's were already in trouble out in the
Right.
Coliseum. There was talk of Tampa Bay, the Marlins we even talked about, even the Expos before they went to Washington. We talked about this last week. Vegas was used as a negotiating
Yes.
ploy, 10 years ago, whenever it was. So now we are Aces basketball. We got the lights for soccer. We got, of course, our Golden Knights, etc. Now basketball is back on the table. Can this city, with all four major sports and then some, 2.5 million people in this town on a regular basis? Oh, and the Raiders, of course. Can this town support all of these major sports as attendees? Not the betting side, not the people who are going to come in from Oakland to see the Raiders play. Or the only time I plan on setting foot into that stadium is when my Giants come out here to play the Raiders. And even at that, I would probably question about whether the smarts to go down there to watch the football game is up for grabs. As a guy who's involved in a major sport, what do you think about the transition of this town becoming a sports town?
Well, I think minor league baseball is a little bit different than those, and it's a different atmosphere. It's less expensive to go to. It's more family friendly. I mean, consider that versus going to a Raiders game. Exactly which one would you want to bring your family to?
Right.
Let me ask you a question then, because I agree with that. It's more family friendly, much more affordable. You get to see the future stars. I would love, as a test market, similar to what they do in Cooperstown at Doubleday Field, and they've done it down at Cashman, where the major league team comes in.
Major League Baseball
Right.
weekend, right,
But
towards the tail end of spring training.
I wouldn't make it a weekend. I would test market, half a dozen games a year, where the parent club, the Oakland A's, come in and have a game here. A lot of times scheduling is always an issue. It's not that far to Oakland from here. realistically speaking, we're on the left coast, as I now call it. But I would love, as a test market, and again, they would have to do statistics to bear this out, to schedule a number of games. Listen, it's wonderful to go to Mexico City for a football game and London for a football game. How about coming to Vegas for a MLB game? I think that would be awesome.
Would we really, though, have proper stats to back us up? If they're going to play at the Las Vegas ballpark, 10,000 people maximum is capacity there, approximately, versus an MLB stadium, which is 35, 40, 50,000. Is that a fair judge of how our market would handle?
To be fair, I think the Marlins drew an average of
8,000. That's true. That is true. That is true. But that's an anomaly, because of what's going on down there.
I found out over the last few days the plan for Major League Baseball for 2019, as far as games that are out of normal ballparks. There's going to be 2 series in Monterrey, Mexico. There's going to be one in London. There's going to be one in Williamsport. There's going to be one in Omaha around the College World Series. So they're trying to your point, yes, they are test marketing, going to different places, just not at one ballpark.
I have my friend from Chicago I mentioned is checked in. Her brother is a huge sports statistics kind of guy. Before we went on the air, you mentioned that you were looking for individuals.
Yes.
So why don't you give a quick blast out about what you're looking for and where you're looking for, in case some of our listeners can help, and your contact information.
Okay.
So if any of our listeners have maybe someone that they can have you reach out to.
So my job in charge of the MLB data collection, part of that is hiring all the people that are in each individual ballpark that enter the information that you see on MLB at Bat or ESPN Gamecast, what you see in the box score the next day. We're looking for some people in Boston, Baltimore, D.C., Chicago, Milwaukee.
Chicago, Melissa, did you hear that? Chicago.
Milwaukee, Miami, Dallas to do Texas Rangers. My email is Hank, Hank, .Widmer, WIDMER @MLB.com. Feel free to email me and I'll put you through the paces to see if you know how to score a baseball game. Can you do 5 things at one time?
You said the Baltimore area?
Baltimore, D.C., yes.
I got to let my daughter Stacy know, because she's a big baseball geek and she lives right down there in Norfolk, Virginia.
Male, female. It's agnostic hiring. I talk to you over the phone.
Equal opportunity.
Equal opportunity. I talk to you on the phone. Do you know how to score a baseball game? Yes. Do you? Like I said, can you do 5 things at one time? If you can, that's half the battle.
Listen, my daughter's a residence hall director down at Old Dominion. She can balance more than one thing at a time.
I just got to bring this up real quickly, because you did mention earlier how I really did my homework better than I've done, but I never used my homework today. I get all these. Listen, you and I both know when we start doing this show,
we never followed. There's no script.
That hour goes by, and you look and you go, "We got 2 minutes left."
Exactly. We have a guest coming in our studio now.
Hey, there's Manny.
It's the mailman. I feel like we're all of a sudden on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
No,
Didn't he have a mailman step in?
We're live here.
That's right. That's all right. Hi, Manny. Have a good weekend. This is what I love about live radio. You just never know what happens.
You know what? For Manny's Christmas gift, I did one of my portrait caricatures of him.
Did you really?
I did it. I gave it to him the other day, and he came in yesterday. He goes, "My wife was so excited. I'm going to frame this." It was a funny cartoon because I had him with the mailbag over in his mail uniform and a dog biting his leg.
Oh, dog biting is like, oh my goodness.
And he just flipped out. I just had to throw that in. Listen, real quickly, there were a lot of trades in Major League Baseball. That's all I got to say.
I feel bad.
You want to cover it all in 30 seconds? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
That's right. What I'd like to do, we started a tradition a couple of weeks ago, though we got past it, was kind of going over the National Day Calendar events. Neil, our good friend Marlo Anderson, who's the founder of National Day Calendar.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I want to kind of go over the days that are coming up this week.
Yeah, we kind of preluded, prefaced, whatever that P word is, earlier before we got on air. Right. And some of the days coming up, I'm going, you got to be kidding me. So why don't you share with our audience what they are?
So the today being the 15th, there are 5 on the calendar. Number 1 is National Lemon Cupcake Day. Today is Bill of Rights Day. This is one I love. Cat Herders Day, because we know how much fun it is to herd cats.
Take a breath in between the next one, because I brought up that connotation earlier. But Maybe skip to the one after that and then go back to that one.
National Wear Your Pearls Day. And on the second Saturday in December, which would have probably, let's see, this would be today, National Wreaths Across America Day. This is all today's National Day calendars. Wreath, like Christmas wreaths that you put on the door.
I have a list, but I can't say the word.
I speak with a lisp, and I don't have a lisp.
Right.
Wreaths is one of those tough words. That WR always gets.
Thoroughly kills me. It's I gotta put they always say keep the tiger in the cage with your tongue. That's what I was taught as a little kid to help with my lisp. But I remember as a little kid, we had a play at day camp in Wizard of Oz, and I was the wizard. And I had a really strong lisp. And one of the lines I'll never forget it was, "How dare you come to me and ask me for a brain? I'm the most powerful Wizard of Oz." And that's actually how it sounded. It was terrible.
Tomorrow is a good day. I like tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 16th. Tomorrow is National Chocolate Covered Anything Day.
Oh.
You can leave that to the mind. Tomorrow is also Barbie and Barney Backlash Day. So if you didn't like Barney or Barbie, it seems like that tomorrow's the day that you can let the world know.
Tomorrow's your day.
Tomorrow.
Post on social media. Let me know what you're doing in 2 hours and 3 hours like people do. Like, I care. I don't care.
Monday, National Maple Syrup Day. So go out and have pancakes and waffles and enjoy your syrup. Also, it's the Wright Brothers Day, which is very important.
Aviators should find a logo and
exactly
tie that whole thing in.
Here's one on December 18th, which is kind of interesting. National Roast Sucking Pig Day.
What?
I don't know.
How do you put those words together? Roast sucking?
I could click on it and find out, but we are running.
Don't go there.
But you can go to nationaldaycalendar.com and look all these up. The 19th, also on the 18th, kind of quirky. Answer the telephone like Buddy the Elf Day for that movie that.
How did Buddy the Elf answer the phone?
I have no idea. I watched that movie one time.
Two Jewish guys. So we don't know what.
Right. Let's go watch Elf and two Jews. Two Jews turn on a movie.
My wife loves that movie, Elf.
Oh my goodness. The 19th, National Hard Candy Day, and it's National Oatmeal Muffin Day.
Oh, that's my day.
There you go. A lot of fiber in that day. The 20th, National Sangria Day. You can wash down all that fiber the next day with a sangria.
I don't drink.
Today, also on the 20th is Mud Day, MUDD. I don't know. I'm not sure what that stands for. And the Thursday before Christmas, National Regifting Day.
Before Christmas?
Well, sure. You have all those gifts that you got maybe from last Christmas that you didn't like.
And you get them ready and you reap.
Holiday, or you get them for white elephants and all that stuff.
or that's the day you could tie in with National Hate Barbie and
Barney Day.
Barney
correct.
Day, right.
Okay, the 21st, and I'll stop with this one because this is a long list for next for the 21st, which is next Saturday, Friday, whatever day it is. National French Fry Shrimp Day. National Crossword Puzzle Day. National Humbug Day. National Marine Day. That's a good one. We got to honor. Well, really, we should be honoring all of our service. But
that's not a water day. Or
it might be. I took it as Marinas in the service.
I get confused.
Could be. Go to a Marine. Phileas Fogg Win a Wager Day. I have no idea what that is.
What?
I don't know.
Phileas what?
Phileas Fogg. Fogg.
Don't we have a friend Phileas?
Doc Phineas.
Oh, close.
Close. Well, it kind of sounded like. This is the third Friday in December. National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day. Now,
boy, there was a silence I said here. That was good.
That had the ugly sweaters, yes. So they were a week or so early. Then it should have been on that day. Okay, here's one which also our friend Daisy May, Cynthia, who you just did their
Urban Underdogs.
Urban Underdogs. It is Underdog Day, third Friday in December.
We have to tell her about that.
I saw her punch in before. She's actually, I have her in here that she's watching.
Hi,
hopefully
Cynthia.
she caught it. Well, yeah. Well, I think
dog.
that's or like the David and Goliath thing. You're the Davids, and you're always the underdog in life.
Oh, right, correct.
But I took it as the character when I first read it.
That's what I did too.
December. Let's see, the day between December 20th and 23rd, Winter Solstice Day, because usually that's the 21st when winter starts, right? Isn't that Solstice Day, the shortest day of the year?
Do we have winter here in Vegas?
For about an hour.
All right.
National Flashlight Day. And that's the day of winter solstice. So whenever that day is, I guess it's.
What does that mean, solstice?
It's what you put on your food. You salt this, right?
Salt this, salt that.
Oh my goodness! And we continue to digress around here. Anyway, so that's Flag Light because it makes sense. It's Flashlight Day because that's the shortest day of the year.
So you need flashlights.
which is the first day of winter. So you need flashlights because it gets dark
to
early.
extend your day.
To extend your day. National Homeless Persons Remembrance Day. This is on the first day of winter, which will correspond with Solstice Day. And December 21st is Yule Day. Y-O-U-L is also the day of winter solstice. It is also a day, I guess, you can celebrate Yule Brenner if you're a big fan.
Ooh, that'd be good for us. Then.
Yes, it would be. That's the day that we're going to celebrate. And not to be confused with Yule Log Day, but I'm sure that's kind of what it is.
We're getting down here in time.
Yes, we are. We're probably over time.
We are over. We're
okay.
over.
We run the gig.
Yeah.
Video can toss us out.
Hey,
so.
we want to thank our guest.
Absolutely.
Hank, this is, as a baseball guy, I could do another 2 hours, and we'd look down and go, we just did 3 hours.
And maybe we'll do a sports-related specific show. Not that this wasn't per se, but maybe we will do a sports-related show going into spring training before
that
he
would
travels.
be awesome. That would be awesome.
Because he hits the road right during spring training.
You know what? Maybe I'll put a call because Raleigh Fingers lives in the area, and Brian Tower. Also, and I've been on radio with him before. Maybe we can get a whole bunch of baseball.
Well, then we better get a bigger mixer then for all those microphones.
So
that we
let
need.
me tell you my single Raleigh Finger story. So I would say 10 years ago. No, not even that. 8 years ago. I was I work kind of occasionally for the 51s Aviators, doing helping them out, and my daughters have worked for them. And we were going up the elevator. And Raleigh Fingers was in the elevator, and my daughters didn't know who he was. He gets off and he goes, "What's with his mustache?" I go, "That's him." That's all I remember. Raleigh Fingers.
That's a
great
signature.
reliever, Hall of Fame, handlebar mustache.
And the thing that when I first met him, and I met him at Adams, he lost his son, got kidnapped. I'm losing the guy's name. He was on America's Most Wanted. John.
The host.
Yeah, well,
John Walsh.
John Walsh. He had his event here in Vegas, and I went to the event, and I got to meet Raleigh for the first time. He's a big guy. I didn't realize how tall he was.
He's like 6'5", maybe.
You know what? He's still in great
but
shape.
He's stocky though too.
He's down at Southern Highlands. He
Right.
lives on the golf course. He's retired.
Why don't you just give his address for everybody to go knock on his door?
Southern Highlands, you can't get in without
I know.
giving up your first and second born.
Mr. Rollins, Neil said we should stop by.
Yeah, we should stop by. But real nice guy. We got to talk a little bit baseball, and here I am as a former. I didn't get to that level or achieve what he's achieved, but I played the game, and I'm looking at this 6'5" guy. And let me tell you a funny story. I played for Coach Ron Frazier at Miami, and the freshman fall baseball had to throw BP. So you had all these big studs, 6'4" guys there on the mound, and they're throwing BP, and I threw junk. And I'm this little 5'10", chunky little right-hander at 185 back then. I'm 220, 210 now. What would they call me now? Who the hell cares? But I get to the hill and I'm throwing the deuce, and I'm throwing the slider, and I'm throwing the cut fastball. And Coach Frazier looks over me and says, "Hey, Rook, here at the U during BP, we throw number 1." And I looked at him and said, "Coach, I don't have a number 1." And all the guys were laughing because, listen, nothing that came out of my hand was straight. Everything had movement. It's just the natural ability that I threw movement with every pitch I threw. But I'll never, ever forget that. The legendary Coach Ron Frazier is telling me to throw number 1.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So tonight, come on down to Kringle and Krampus down at the Fallout Shelter for the Atomic Roller Girls fundraiser event to benefit the Nevada Children's Cancer Foundation. Also, again, as a reminder, Monday the 17th, please join Aline Jacobson, who is doing a session, How to Handle Holiday Stress and Guilty Eating with Hypnosis Sessions. You have 2 to choose from, 1 to 3 p.m. or 7 to 9 p.m., $99 a person. Unless you bring a friend, then each of you will only be charged $89. And then in a week or two, we're going to hear about another program that she has going on starting in January. Well, Neil, I want to apologize to all the trees you cut down for all that printing you did for all your homework.
Oh, well, yeah, but Tudelisky is being reported on the Cubs radar. Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to see the Yankees get him until Didi comes back.
I'm sure you would.
He'll be cheaper than Machado, that's for sure. Then go after Bryce Harper. But what do I know about hockey, Mr. Cashman? Anyway, so with that, Hank, thank you so much for coming in. Once all the links are up and everything, I'll share it to your page so you can watch and laugh at us and have a good time and share it.
And don't be a stranger because we really enjoyed you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely need to get you on before you run away for spring training and get some real baseball talk done. Any final thoughts in our closing, Mr. Neal?
No, just have a great time. Tell that beautiful, tall woman that
Sweaty
really,
balls.
sweaty balls
That you love her.
that I love her.
I would.
Yeah, she'd kill me. She
She would.
really would.
If she looks at you wrong, she can
Oh
break you
my
in half.
God.
Anyway, have a great week, everybody. We look forward to seeing you right back here next week about 11 a.m. Pacific time with twin brothers from different mothers, Aaron Phillips Neal Portnoy. Have a great week, everybody.